Well, we just spent over $100,000 getting our machine shop set up, and I've got some really bad news. We have just been having problem. So he picks this thing up, proceeds to drop it, and this thing is absolutely cooked. After problem, so we got a replacement, and this thing's busted up too. After problem, $5,000–6,000 worth of tooling. Come to find out that was all wrong. The manual is actually wrong, and what I was told is wrong. After problem, it has been an ongoing battle to get our machine online, which I've got set up. We've got our mill right over here, and before I show you that thing, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the problems that we've been having. Basically, we got this thing in. They said they had one left in stock, and mind you, I've already bought a mill from this company in the past, so I knew exactly what I wanted. I knew what I wanted to buy, so I got it ordered up, purchased it, and there was a little bit of logistical issues trying to find a driver. You know, we got through that. We got it here, and I got all the equipment rented, which was a little bit of a challenge too, just trying to find a forklift. We're in Boise, and this thing is 12,000 pounds. That was the shipping weight, and right now Boise is just booming here. So all the equipment is just being rented out and hard to get. So we got a huge front end loader, got that figured out. One of my neighbors hooked it up with a contact. So we got that front end loader, and when the machine got here, well, the driver that was driving all of our freight here apparently was in a bit of a rush and didn't like how slow I was going handling my new equipment. So he offered, I genuinely believe out of the kindness of his heart, he was being nice about it. He offered to unload some of the smaller stuff once I got the mill over to the shop and everything. You know, I was fine with just doing it, but he's like, I gotta go, I got other places to be. You know, if you'd like, I get in customers' equipment all the time and unload their stuff. And I was like, okay, this guy probably knows what he's talking about. Like sure, man, why don't you do it? And yeah, that was literally one of the worst mistakes I've made in recent times. So this guy picked up our transformer for the mill, which converts 220 volts into 380 volts for the mill. And this transformer, it's not small. I'm going to show it to you on the ground here. So he picks this thing up on a single fork and proceeds to drop it off of the front end loader. And my employee saw this and went, "Hey Eric, I think he just dropped the transformer in your driveway." Well, yeah, he did. And this thing is absolutely cooked. It weighs hundreds of pounds. The inside of it, everything's broken in there. He didn't want to secure anything to the forks, and he actually would have dropped more of our stuff as well for the machine if I hadn't been stopping him and holding it. So we're lucky it was just that got dropped. But shout out to Wesley for over at Sile for taking care of us and getting that all handled. The trucking company got it all handled. They sent us a replacement. So I was very thankful and blessed that they took care of that for me. So we got a replacement, and I just unboxed it. It's been a few weeks, and lo and behold, here is the crate that it came out of. And the crate looked okay on the outside, but I gotta open it up, and this thing's busted up too. It's actually kind of sitting up in the air. It's so bent. Look at that. Just kind of rocks back and forth because one of the wheels is completely crushed. This board here that holds all of our ring terminals for our power, it is completely sideways and unhooked. This door's a little janky, missing some hinges. But yeah, this thing clearly got damaged in shipping over there when I got the crate. And I removed the top. This thing was completely bent up. The wheels were broken. There's bearings out in the box. There's bolts missing. This thing's sideways, and I feel like I'm going to blow my shop up if I go ahead and plug this in. So I contacted Wesley again over at Sile, and I just told him, hey man, I need the okay on this. I think it's probably fine, but I'm not touching it until one of your engineers gives me the okay, because clearly could do some damage to some electronics. So something else I had to set up over here for this was this phase converter. So we wired all of that in, and that is what is going to be plugging up into our transformer there. We got a rotary screw air compressor here with an air dryer to run, and there's the plumbing I did for the airline into the mill. But other than that, the mill's had some little minor issues here and there, and it's normal. I mean, stuff happens, and it is what it is, right? You just got to problem solve. You got to let them know about it, and you got to keep going. Well, some of the other problems I had was before I got the mill, the manual for the mill said it had one type of spindle in it. So okay, I'm gonna order up all of my tooling so I can get ahead of this. And I went ahead and ordered up like probably $5,000-$6,000 worth of tooling. Really nice stuff for the mill. Well, come to find out that was all wrong. The manual is actually wrong, and what I was told is wrong. So go figure. Yeah, I had to return everything. Luckily, I am getting a complete refund on that. Don't have to pay a restocking fee, and I got all the correct tooling ordered for the spindle and everything on this machine. But that really just wasn't the end of it, unfortunately. I also bought a probe for this machine, and what the probe does is it's something you can program in to your operation for this guy right here. This is a probe, a spindle probe. It goes up into your spindle, and there's little electronic sensors in here that communicate with some other parts in your machine. And the probe touches with a stylus. I'm trying to find right now where it went. It touches your part, it touches whatever you want it to touch, and it probes it for you. There it is. It's in my pocket. So I went to order some extra up. This was a brand new probe that I bought from Marpos, and I said, hey, I need some more of this part number. And I couldn't just order it up. I had to fill out 5 different forms, spend like an hour calling back and forth, leaving voicemails, looking through catalogs, asking for prices, all for this one little part that I couldn't even find from them anywhere in their catalog. So then they go, oh wow, that's out of spec. Yeah, you must be the only customer that's ever received that this year because we don't know how you got that. And I'm like, okay, well, can I get a replacement? No big deal. And that communication started about 2 weeks ago. Well, I still don't have my replacement, and yesterday they were actually asking me to just buy one. So I thought that was a little bit odd, and I am really having a lot of patience with them, more than they probably deserve, while I'm waiting for that new stylus tip to get the correct one up into our probe so that we can finally use it. And if we don't have that probe, then we can't make anything, because we can't probe anything, because I didn't buy a mechanical or manual probe. I spent the money on a nice electronic probe that's going to get us better results, but doesn't even work apparently. They sent me the wrong stuff, out of spec according to them, and then they want me to pay for something new. So I'm very confused. I'm just waiting. At this point, I'll just buy it because I want to make my parts. I want to get this thing finished up, and I need to get this reverse lockout made for Nelson and the boys. So let me show you the mill now. Okay, here's our controller. Here is the front of the mill here, and this whole area is what I set up here for the machine shop. So we got a new toolbox over there with a whole bunch of tooling and parts and all kinds of stuff in there. And then over here we've got actually the original OG machine shop toolbox from when I used to do all the machining on the parts. And over here we've got a nice vise that I ordered up. Got a pretty sweet vise here. I've heard really good things about orange, and I am really excited to use this thing. It's a dual station, which means we can actually set some stuff up in the middle here, and then both of these jaws will clamp down towards the middle, and then we can load multiple parts in at a time, and kind of just increases your throughput on the machine. Instead of just having like one vise, it kind of almost acts as two. Really, my only gripe with this machine For what I can see in the future, running production, running jobs in this, is the chip bin. So the chip bin is located in the bottom of the machine. It's where all of the chips and all of the coolant from in the machine run down, and they get filtered out from one another. The chips stay at the top, the coolant runs underneath the chips, stays in the tank, and then you pull the chips out. Now inside of the enclosure here, this thing will fill up with chips depending on just how much work you're doing. Well, we will be running this thing all day long, running like 1,000 parts at a time for dark matter X shifters, and the stuff's going to get full of the aluminum chips and shavings. So it has to drain down somewhere. Well, I was very, very blown away when I saw the chip bin on this machine. This is the chip bin. This is what they're expecting you to put your chips in. You can see it doesn't even really work. That is it. That is the whole entire chip bin. Guys, what is going on here? That cannot be a good solution here. It is really sad. So there's one on this side, and there's one on that side. And yeah, obviously that side is up against the wall. Over here, my last sile, the whole chip bin actually came out this side. So I planned for that on this machine. Planned for that when I was setting it up. Like, okay, we're going to have the chip bin come out the left side. We're going to put this thing up against the wall, maximize space. That's a pretty common thing to do. And yeah, lo and behold, they evidently, when they started making bigger machines, they made the chip bin smaller. Go figure. So what I've been doing is actually working with a supplier in China. I'm working with a company to create a custom chip bin for this machine. So I've been taking like all these measurements. I've been filling out like all these drawings that they've been sending me, and we're literally designing. It's not a chip bin. It's actually it's called a chip conveyor. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna pull those little bins out, those little dinky bins, and we're gonna stick a whole conveyor system. It's gonna convey the chips out and up a chute and drop down into a bucket. So again, I was just very surprised that spending this much money on this size machine, they would give you something so tiny like that. But it is what it is, right? We're gonna get it figured out, guys. We're gonna keep going. So I've been ordering all kinds of other stuff, tooling, end mills, all kinds of measuring stuff, a bandsaw, material, just getting the whole shop set up, reorganized, all in preparation to be able to start machining this lockout shifter. But it appears there has been a lot of issues, and we are just waiting now. I'm just waiting to find out about getting the correct stylus. I'm waiting about the transformer, and I'm going to keep you guys updated as soon as I can, but I am ready to make this thing, start programming it. So I'll probably start working on creating like all the tool paths and the programming for that soon. And then we're just going to have to wait. I don't know. We might have to get a third transformer, and I might end up just buying a whole different probing system for the mill, because it's been the most diabolical customer service that I've ever had. I mean, that system was, I think, like $6,000, $7,000 or $8,000 to buy, and they want me to buy the correct part back from them. I don't really know. It doesn't make any sense. So sometimes I've learned running this business is it's better in the end, like, to accomplish the goal, to just be the bigger person and just let something go. If that means I gotta pay for a part that I shouldn't have to pay for, or that I already paid for, because that means I'm gonna get my goals achieved sooner, then I just do that. I just make those decisions. I've dealt with these kind of problems before, and I've realized that. I'm like, every day's gone. Like, once the day's gone, once the time's gone, you're never getting it back. So am I really gonna sit here and get upset or argue over a $100 part when I could just buy it, and I could just let it go and I move on, and I know I'm never supporting that business again. Now I get my job done, and I can keep moving forward with Dark Matter X. So there you guys go. That's the update. As soon as anything happens, any new transformer comes in, or if we can power it up, get the machine going, I will keep you guys updated. Peace out.